Next up is Peggy Warren. I met Peggy last year at the first World Vegan Summit, and she and I ended up sort of spending a lot of the time that I was not speaking. We were in sort of a little group talking, and she was so full of ideas about things that she thought she could do and things that she wanted to do. I couldn't resist asking her to be a moderator on the page, and she has been terrific. Not only is she a great moderator in terms of interacting with people, but she's really creative when it comes to designing resources and helping us spread the word. So I will now introduce you to Peggy Warren.
If I can see over the podium. Good afternoon. So I'm going to talk about everyday opportunities and everyday advocacy that we can all do. And with just a little preparation, anybody can do everyday advocacy and take advantage of an everyday opportunity, which can last. This is something that can last 5 seconds, maybe 5 minutes. Usually you're interacting with a stranger. But with just a little tiny bit of preparation, anybody can do this and everybody should do this. So how does this work exactly? The first thing you need to do is you need to be prepared. And in order to be prepared, it's really pretty simple. I basically have two things. I keep How Do I Go Vegan cards with me and abolitionist approach pamphlets with me everywhere I go. So I know that I always have my materials with me everywhere I go. The second thing you need is you just need to have a really good attitude. You need to believe that people really want to learn about veganism. It's something that's a very exciting message that people are going to be receptive to. And don't be afraid to smile when you approach people and want to talk to them about this. So once you are prepared and you have your opportunities all ready to go and you have your attitude on, all you have to do is you have to look for these opportunities. And they are literally everywhere. You can do them, I mean, you would be amazed at some of the things. I've been in the dentist chair with cotton balls in my mouth and been talking to the dentist. So I mean, there's nowhere you can go. And so just a few examples are anywhere that you work, play, or socialize, when you're out jogging, walking your dog or other non-human refugee, when you stop at the bank, if you're talking on the phone with like a customer service rep, visiting the library or a bookstore, grocery shopping, which happens to be one of my favorite places to accost people, waiting in the veterinarian's office, if you're riding on a bus, train, or plane, eating in a restaurant, shopping for non-food food items, buying gas for your car, visiting your local food bank, or even in a vegan establishment. If I hear someone behind me talking about veganism or enjoying their food, I always turn around and introduce myself and tell them about the How Do I Go Vegan website and the abolitionist approach and give them a pamphlet. So basically what I'm saying is once you start thinking of it in this way, you're going to find opportunities beyond your wildest imagination. But of course, the most important thing is you have to act. And it doesn't matter if it's a casual acquaintance or total strangers, which I approach all the time. You have to act in order to make this connection. So I want to talk about just a couple of examples of some of the things that I have done recently, and some of them are really simple. For example, going to the bank. Drove up to the bank window, did my little transaction, and the teller said, "Is there anything else I can do for you?" And I said, "Well, yes, as a matter of fact, there is." I said, "I would like you to go vegan." And so she said, "Oh, really?" And I said, "As a matter of fact, I have a little pamphlet and a card that I would like to give to you." And I had it ready in my lap, and I put it in a little tray, and she sucked it right in and started looking at it. And she said, "Thank you very much. I am so happy to get this." Last week is another one. I had to buy a piece of furniture, and I had been waiting all summer for our furniture sale to have their big annual sale. So I went doodling down there, and I talked to the sales rep. the first thing I said when I walked in is, now I want you to understand that I am vegan and I don't even want to see anything that's leather. And he said, well, that's fine. So he showed me around and he chatted and we talked about the different items. And in the process of our conversation, he happened to mention that he had a dog. And he said, this particular fabric is one that I have and the dog hair doesn't stick to it. And I said, aha. So I filed that away in the back of my mind and we finished our transaction. And before I left, I said, you know, I understand that you have a dog. You mentioned having one, and I love dogs. As a matter of fact, I love all animals, which is why I'm vegan. And we started talking about a little bit, and he was very, very receptive, and I ended up giving him a How Do I Go Vegan card and an abolitionist approach pamphlet. So, I mean, these are everywhere, but probably my favorite place that I like to approach people is in the grocery store. And when I go in my grocery store, we don't have a lot of options where I live. So I basically go to the produce section and ignore the rest of the store. So I see people in the produce section and I will walk up and say, wow, the kale really looks fabulous today. And I said, I would say something like, you know, I really like getting all of these great vegetables that we have here because I live on this kind of food. And I see that you have a lot of great vegetables in your cart. Do you happen to be vegan? And sometimes people will say, well, no, or maybe I'm thinking about it, or maybe I'm almost there. So, of course, I start talking to them about the How Do I Go Vegan website and why they should consider going vegan. I give them an abolitionist approach pamphlet, and they smile, they're receptive. I almost never get someone that is not interested. People are very receptive, they want this information, they are hungry for this information. And all we have to do is just to go out and make a 5-second connection, a couple of minutes of chatting, whatever it takes, you can get that information out there. It's easy to do, it's something that we should all do. So all we have to do is just be prepared, look for opportunities, and act. It's something that all of us can do. It's something that we should be doing, and it's something that we owe the animals because we really need our vegan world, and the animals really need our voice. So every time we connect with someone, it's making one more little seed, one more little connection, and is one more step toward our vegan world. So get out there and get everyone to go vegan.
I hope you listen to that because she's basically given you a complete recipe for how you can get out there. I mean, look, you know, if ever you make a plane reservation in which you have to order a meal, if you can't turn that into a vegan moment where you get involved in a discussion, restart the conversation. I mean, you know, you can do all this stuff. It's really quite easy.
I talked to 4 people just on the way down here and gave them pamphlets.
There you go. See, I mean, she's just like, I love her. You can't stop her. She's just wonderful. I mean, she's doing it. But that's the right way to think, that every interaction you have is an interaction which you can turn into an educational opportunity and an opportunity to talk about veganism.